Now loading. Zero's Game Room.
Welcome to Zero's Game Room, where all things gaming takes place. Interviews, discussions, and the latest gaming news. So take a seat, get comfortable, adjust your headset, because it's game time. Here's your host, Zero.
Anfred, pass me the coffee. No, Anfred, wake up. I need the coffee. Give me the coffee.
No.
No, give me the coffee. Come on, man.
I need to watch the Nintendo Direct. It's fucking 4 in the morning. I need the coffee. You find your own.
Oh my gosh. Welcome one and all to Zero's Game Room, where we talk about video games and we talk about a lot of things and the things we're willing to do to make sure we're updated on everything. Because as most of you know, as it's going up today, we had I don't even know if I want to call it a Pokemon Direct, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't even want to watch video games right now. I'd rather watch my bed right now.
We're a little tired because, yes, today we live in the West Coast, so this direct, I'm using air quotes right now, was shown at 6 a.m. in the morning, and it was to talk about the new Pokemon, which we kind of already had an idea where this game was going to be going, or what we were going to expect from this Nintendo Direct, and we asked and we received. Anpred, what did we get?
We got a 7-minute Nintendo Pokemon Direct for Pokemon Day at 6 o'clock in the morning for the 8th gen Pokemon game, man.
Woo! I know, we need to be hyped up. This is hype moves. We need to wake up. We need an injection of cappuccino, espresso in our veins.
I just straight to it. Just put it in the butt. Give it to me in a shot in the butt.
Well, that'll get in your bloodstream real quick.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of this trailer?
I thought it's a very good take on the franchise because the previous game for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, that was like a throwback to where they're saying, hey, give us time. And you know what? I'm glad we gave them time because it's so pretty. They actually use a Switch, hardware, and my God, I think it's like the prettiest Pokemon game I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, I would have to agree. This game takes place in a new region called the Galar region, and for the most part, it looks very. I don't know how other way to explain this than it looks very north. Like you're always just traveling north. In other regions you've had to travel across the sea. It's like not a circle, but there's definitely a circular journey that you're going through. This one, unless you count Gen 7, which you go to different islands, so, but this time you're just going, like, straight up, and from what the trailer showed, it looks like it's maybe taking place in the UK, question mark?
I think so, because I think one of the major landmarks that they were showing was, like, the Big Ben-ish kind of tower, which I thought the setting was going to be more, like, black and white, but I think they're fully embracing, like, hey, this is British, nothing like fancy France or anything like that. So I think it's a fresh take on it, and it's more of the like street life, and then in the beginning, and then it seems more like the more you level up, the more you're gonna face the cold and the more aggressive Pokemon.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is like you start off very warm in the southern part, more countryside, and then as you get higher up to the mountains, you get to the frigid, more not metal, but like just colder, harder, difficult fights and whatnot, which is like in most Pokemon games, the more you progress, the harder it gets. I use air quotes because some games are stupid easy, like Pokemon, what game was it? It was like X and Y, which I actually wanted to reference X and Y. X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are probably the easiest Pokemon games by far.
Really?
But in Pokemon X and Y, we have already visited France because the Eiffel Tower is there, blah, 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 blah. So we're already in that known realm. What's interesting to me is this looks like it's an island, or they painted it to look like it's an island. So I'm really interested to see where this actually takes place in our world. But I will say that, it looks like they took the building blocks of the Pokemon Go series that we got on Switch, Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. And you're a teenager now, because in that game you look like a little squirt, little 10-year-old little shit.
Little shit.
Yeah,
wow.
look, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just saying. But in this game, you're definitely a teenager. But I have one minor detail problem with the models.
Their heads not big?
The backpack of the male character is like this huge square, huge rectangular block thing on his back, and the girl has like a typical girl backpack purse thing. Why does the guy have to carry such a huge that backpack is like over half his size? Why is that a thing?
I mean, I personally want the girl to have that because, again, these kids go on adventures and they, there's no day or night cycle sometimes, but like, if I was planning to go on a journey, I'm carrying like 2 big backpacks, maybe a duffel bag with me because I gotta get my tan, I gotta get my tea, my coffee, my Quaker, I gotta get all my stuff ready to go so I can live peacefully. But yeah, having a small backpack, I think she needs to get a bigger backpack. I don't know.
I think that's the only problem I have when it comes to the character models. But go ahead. I think this game looks pretty. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. This game looks pretty. We can identify that.
Yes.
It looks like we're going to be looking at different generations of Pokemon. We saw a Pikachu. We saw a Minccino from Gen 5. We saw a Wishiwashi from Gen 7. It looks like maybe the sneaking mechanic from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is back. On Pred.
Yeah.
Are we going to be playing some FIFA Pokemon 2019?
Yeah. That was weird. I was like, because I'm not, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, it seems like, your character walks into like the soccer field, and granted they show like it was a battle scene earlier for like a split second, but towards the end it was more like you're playing FIFA Pokemon and you're like, hey, nice. There's going to be, cool mini games maybe, but I think I was more excited about the scenery, but even then, what do you think about the Pokemon, man? The 3 starters.
Really quick, I do want to say, yeah, you're right. Earlier, it seemed like there was like a stadium and they were having a Pokemon battle. I think it was like a Lucario shooting an Aura Sphere at a Tyranitar or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's more like, them showing different arenas rather than them saying, hey, it's a mini game. But I think it's wishful thinking. If they do, then, hey, it's like another Pokemon Stadium mini game, then I'm down for it.
I don't know if it was necessarily a video game, perhaps. I think it was more of like how like in every Pokemon game there's like certain like battle tower or whatever, there's events that you can do and just battle.
Oh, that's right.
I feel like that's what it's going to be, but I digress. Yeah, luckily in this trailer, it's actually funny. Before we get into the starter Pokemon, we actually talked about this and we thought like maybe how much are they actually going to show us? Because the Twitter, it said this thing was only going to be about 7 minutes long, which it was. And I was kind of scared that they were just going to talk for like 5 minutes and do 2. And they kind of did do that. They kind of just said, hey. So this is one of those things that they could have dropped in the middle of the day and just a 2-minute clip. You didn't even need to talk. Just drop that trailer that they actually showed and it would have made a lot more sense. But anywho, we'll get to that in a minute. 3 starter Pokemon. We have the grass monkey, Grookey. I guess that's what his name is. We have the fire type, Score Bunny. And we have the water type, who's nice and timid, Sobble.
Yeah, are you excited by these designs?
No, you know what? I actually am. See, here's the thing about me, and I think this is where you and I are going to differentiate a lot.
Yeah.
When it comes to newer generation Pokemon, I'm always welcoming the new. Back in Gen 5, a lot of people were hating on it because there are no older Gen Pokemon until you at least beat the game, which seems kind of ridiculous. But to me, I was like, well, they want you to experience all these new Pokemon. People were like, yeah, but why is there an ice cream cone as a Pokemon? I agree. That's a little weird.
No.
But I am wholeheartedly accepting it. Yes, we got a trash bag, poison type. Yes, we have an ice cream cone. And we have an eagle that is basically the American flag. I'm okay with all of it. I love it all. I am always accepting. I'm always accepting of it, okay?
Yeah.
But for these 3, I would have to say I'm excited for it, except the monkey.
I'm not excited for Sobble or Grook, which is the water and the grass type, because it seems like every generation, the fire, at least to me, the fire Pokemon or the starter gets more love, and that's because it looks like it got more design time with it rather than the other starters, but that's just my opinion, because it looks like the grass Pokemon, except for like Snivy. To me, in my opinion, that was like the last cool, starting gen Pokemon, but other than that, I don't really think they put a lot of time into this Pokemon to make them look cool.
Yeah, did you see the last? Oh, not the last. Did you see Pokemon X and Y, the little Fennec Fox things, Fennekin, what he evolved into?
Oh, that was the Hawk, right?
No, he was the one who evolved into a mage.
What?
Yeah, see? No, the fire starter in X and Y was probably my favorite. And the Hawk was Gen 7, and that's an owl. But in Gen 6, we had the little kitten. No, that was Gen 7. Holy crap. Okay, Gen 6, I know, I'm like all over the place now. Gen 6, we had the Fennec Fox. We had the little, like, what is it thing? It's not a badger. I'm going to forget its name. It's the little grass thing. It doesn't even matter. And then you had Froakie, the little frog Pokemon. And Froakie ended up being the coolest one, who ended up being Greninja, and now Greninja's in Smash and whatnot. So there's that. So I'm a little scared but here's the thing that keeps me hopeful about Score Bunny. Because I'm tied between either Score Bunny or Sobble. Because I feel like a water salamander kind of sounds cool to me, the idea. And it kind of gives me flashbacks to Mudkip. Do you like Mudkip's the meme, and just the fact that Mudkip was really cool?
No,
Score
I like
Bunny. If you notice on his design, he's got like a little patch on his nose. I don't know if you noticed that. And I don't think that was his nose. I think it's like a little fighting patch, which kind of to me says we're going back to the old roots of when this fire Pokemon fully evolves, it's probably going to be grass and fire and fighting. The water type might be ground and water, and the grass type might be just grass. I don't know.
Oh, dude.
That's what they did in Gen 3. Torchic, and the generation after that, they did the same thing. So it kind of makes you think, well, are they going to do the same? Because then we had, that's exactly what happened in the next generation.
I wonder if they were afraid to change the formula that much. Or...
Well, they changed it in the last one. Because we had Incineroar, who was fire dark. We had...
But he was also fighting, though, no?
Well, he is a... See, here's the thing. While he can be a fighting, like a wrestler, he's also... Like, the idea was he's an evil wrestler, because you know how in wrestlers there's villains and heroes? Yeah. So that's why he was fire dark. Decidueye was grass and ghost. And then... Who was the other one? Okay, fire, water. Who's the water one? It was Poplio. Poplio was the little clown-looking thing, and it was Water Fairy. But still, they changed the formula then, but it seems like they're going back to the formula that they used to do. But, it's yet to be seen. But overall, what did you think of the starters? I know you don't like Grookey that much, which I guess it's not just Grook, it's Grookey.
I think it's called Groot.
It's Grookey.
No, I think it's Groot, buddy. No,
you mean it's like, I am Groot.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Guardians. I think these characters will probably have really awesome evolutions because they're the first 3 Pokemon that you're going to be seeing throughout your journey. I think I'm just more personally excited for how the game's going to handle differently compared to my last hands-on experience before even Pokemon and Eevee. I think it was like Diamond and Pearl. So,
you go a couple ways back.
Yeah, man. I think it was like with Chimchar or something like that.
Chimchar, who, again, Chimchar, Monferno, and then Infernape, that was a firefighting type.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how, an actual next-gen Pokemon game handles on me. I'm excited to see if it does, but if it doesn't, just can't wait for the next Pokemon Stadium game to come out.
If that will ever happen. But here's the thing. Here's the kind of the bottom line. This is a new game. It's a new region, new Pokemon. It begs the question of how many new Pokemon we're going to see. Because in some generations, they've added very few. Sometimes they've added more. Sometimes they haven't. It kind of just depends. We've seen to where they only add, like, I think it was like the lowest they've ever added was like 50 or 60, something like that. And so it begs the question, how many more are we going to see, and how high is the new cap going to go? Are we going to get to a point where eventually there's 1,000 Pokemon?
I mean, for me personally, whenever I keep looking at these games, I already thought that they already hit... Didn't they already hit that 1,000 mark with Pokemon?
No, they didn't.
What?
Yeah, no, I think they're very close, but I don't think they've hit the 1,000 mark. I really don't think they have.
I think it's going to be a good milestone for Pokemon. And I really hope they keep expanding on that number because Not to say that, the ice cream cone and to say that they're running out of ideas, but I think it also comes to the point where even you allow new artists to come in with new blood to show new designs that, hey, that's a cute little, even though they like to make Pikachu variations, I think that could be another new Pokemon that's like, oh, that's the new cute little Pokemon, or that's even better than the old generations, and somebody has something to look forward to love for this new generation.
I would agree. Let's take a look back at Gen 7 when they did the whole Alola forms of different Pokemon. Like, I know for a fact that Alolan Vulpix was probably my favorite Pokemon. If you look up Alolan Vulpix, or Alolan Ninetales, she was my favorite Pokemon. Before, I didn't really care about Ninetales, but Alolan Ninetales is an ice fairy type, and I totally love it. And yes, I named it Elsa. But I think as of right now, yeah. So I think they're close to 800 something when it comes to the amount of Pokemon that they have, including Alolan forms. Not just, they're counting the fact that Vulpix is a Pokemon and Alolan Vulpix is another. So I don't think we've hit the 1,000 mark yet. But here's the bottom line question that I wanted to ask you. Are you going to buy this game?
Yes. No matter what, even if I wasn't doing this podcast, I would still purchase this game because I'm still interested in Pokemon. And now it's more accessible because it's not on the 3DS that stopped my interest to keep going with the series. Because of that different console that I had to get, that just really turned me off from continuing my involvement with the series. But now because it's on the Switch and they're using that hardware and it doesn't... I think we talked about this before, like the Alolan, Pokemon games. I thought they looked ugly on the 3DS, and I was like, my God, it looks like sin. But now it's like, oh, okay, now my eyes can, tolerate it.
Hey,
at least in my
Sun
opinion.
and Moon was great. I don't know what you're talking about. Love that game.
It's a good game, but my eyes, I was like, ooh, no, Hunty, no.
See, this is where we differentiate. It wants it to look pretty. I just want to have a good little adventure. But overall, what did you think of this track? Give me your real feelings, because I know you got some little hate in you right now. Let it out, buddy. Let it out on Fred.
My heart right now is excited for this game. My red eyes right now says I hate Pokemon right now. But maybe you talk to me next week about it. I think I'm really excited for this generation. But they did say it's going to be released in 2019, later in 2019. So maybe they're trying to do it for that sweet Christmas money. But what did you think about the game?
I think it's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see more. I can't imagine this is the only information we're going to get. And as we know, leaks are going to be coming around. So definitely be careful of what you see on the internet, because Reddit users will post up fan-drawn things that look very real. So it's something that you always have to take a grain of salt with when it comes to Pokemon. Just like Smash Bros. When you see rosters get released, like, oh, this is clearly... So, take everything with a grain of salt. But I'm very excited for this Pokemon game. I'm going to pre-order it. And there is a little bit of a worry for me that it's coming in late 2019. I'm assuming it's going to be like around every past Pokemon game. Either be October, November. I highly doubt it, but maybe even early December. But I'm excited that it's coming this year, even though it's at the end of it. So we still have a ways to go, seeing as we're just in February. At the end, no less. But still, I think that's my overall thoughts of this game.
Yeah, I'm really excited, just like you. They also said they pulled another Nintendo at the very end, and we have more to discuss with you later in the year. So I assume there's going to be more games for 2020, and like we talked about before, I think that's just going to be this, the sexy thing to say. Well, our game's coming out in 2020, and 2020 sounds like a really cool thing to say. So,
right.
Hopefully your pockets are ready, man.
Yeah, they made it seem like another game was going to be working for the Pokemon franchise while this is going on. So it makes me think it's going to be another Pokemon spin-off game, whether it be a Pokemon like mystery dungeon game again. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else they could make. Maybe another. I know this is going to sound crazy, but it exists. Pokemon Pinball, for like $20 or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, who knows where they'll go with this. But I'm excited to see where this game goes. But I think with that, it's time we wrap this thing up. Let's get on out of here. And by get on out of here, I mean, Onpred, you can go back to bed after. Yeah, you go to bed. I'll be putting this episode together to make sure it goes up today. But if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit us up on Twitter at Zero's Game Room, at our YouTube channel, Zero's Game Room, and on Podbean, Zero's Game Room. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Google Play. play it anywhere you like. Or, you know, if you just follow on Twitter, guess what? I posted it up there for you. Everybody wins. You give us a follow, you get the podcast directly on Twitter. Anywho, let's get on out of here. So this episode of Zero's Game Room is officially closed. Let's go to bed!